¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis?
Hello, how are you? Welcome once again to this great gathering with cyber volunteers. We meet year after year, at least once a year, all together in this venue. So without further ado, because we're running late, I will introduce you to the next speaker, Shuyang Lin, or Shu. We can call her Shu, because we are already acquainted after a few years talking. It's amazing everything that's going on in Taiwan regarding open government and transparency. Very often we don't know about very important projects, and it's very interesting to learn about everything we are going to hear from Shu. It's a different experience. I know that there are some things going on in Spain related to this, but what Shu told me yesterday is just amazing. So I would not unveil everything yet. We will discover it by and by. Welcome to Malaga.
For being here in the EMPODERA, sharing your knowledge, man, in here, and it's a pleasure for me to stay here with you today. Then, Juana, you can put the first pictures. It's okay. If not, that then doesn't matter. But first of all, I want to no, it's not that one. But it's okay. First of all, I think it's good that you introduce yourself. Yep. Who are you and what are you doing here for us?
So, hi everyone. Thanks for having me here. I think you probably introduced most of my backgrounds, but let me try to explain in English also.
Yeah.
So I'm Shuyang Ling from Taiwan. I'm now working in an innovation lab in Taiwanese government. It's a lab of around 20 people, and we try to establish a decentralized team in the central government of Taiwan, and we try to make open government from within the government. So what we are doing is basically co-designing policies with the citizens. Myself is trained as a designer, so I try to use design thinking and speculative design also, and try to bring the mindset of listening to people, seeing citizens not only as users, but also people we collaborate and co-create policies together, and try to make policies with the system. So our idea of government and citizens is not top-down or any other relationship. It's more like friends, like side-by-side collaboration. So we don't see government as a higher level of authority. We try to be the servant, a real public servant for the citizen, and we try to influence the mindset to inside the government also.
You have different projects, and I would like to come present to us GovZero. What is this?
Okay, so
how it works?
Yeah, GovZero spelled as G0V. It's kind of simply just by swapping the O to 0 and just making more fun. GovZero is a civic tech community. So in the programmers world, we use zero. We start everything from zero-based a lot. And that's one of the reasons we use zero as the name. It's a civic tech community in Taiwan for around 15 years or so. And in the very beginning, Taiwan's technology and democracy evolved almost side by side together. So that means when, say, we have internet arrive to Taiwan, we also had the first president election, and we have a lot of side-by-side events happens afterwards. So you can almost say when technology arrived, democracy also evolved together with technology. And GovZero is a community for around 4,000 people now already. It's an open community, which means everyone can join, even if you're not from Taiwan. So for example, today, if you want to join our community, you're totally welcome. And what we do is we mainly organize hackathons. We can probably explain that a bit further later, but hackathons is a concept of people doing things together in the same time and space. So we organize hackathons and we invite everyone. So there's no particular invitation. Everyone can join the hackathon if you are available, if you are interested. And GovZero has been working on this movement called Fork the Government.
This is one.
Yeah, maybe we can go to
if you put the picture that. But about the hackathons, what kind of hackathons they are? And I read about presidential hackathon too.
Yeah.
What is that?
Okay, so in the beginning of, let's say, projects in GovZero, it's mainly about collecting open data for the government. In GovZero, we are not government funded. We're just a bunch of very passionate people who want to help on civic matters. So we call ourselves civic hackers and ethical hackers. We try to help the government by any kind of skills we have. So like, for example, if I'm a programmer, I can try to write some open source tool for the government. If I am good at using Arduino, for example, I can probably make some sensors and like sense the air pollution value and try to help the government set up open data and just give them the data. So these are the data we collect from the society. And you're welcome to have it. It's all CC by 4.0, so it means everything in GovZero is open license. Everyone can use it, everyone can have it and remix. So what was
the presidential hackathon? Was that the presidential?
The presidential hackathon. So it's kind of a...
Is it different hackathon?
Timeline. Yeah, so in GovZero we make hackathons, and that was back in 2002. And then after a few years, we started to we've been collaborating with governments also. And then recently, after we joined the government and set up a lab inside, the government start to recognize this way of working. So they see hackathon as kind of like a fancy way of working with citizens also. And recently the president decided to, okay, why not we also organize a presidential hackathon? So the president of Taiwan, President Tsai, she announced a topic and announced some focused data set or database we want to have innovation with, and have people to just sign up and make some projects with it.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you another question, and I have to be carefully with the pronunciation. Okay, what's mean the idea of forking? Okay, the government.
Forking, yeah.
Can you elaborate that? Yes, because sometimes I go to the other side and it's not a good side to go with it.
So,
what is forking, the government?
That's a very good question.
Thank you very much.
We like this project a lot. Forking the government is a fun project. In the beginning, it's just really fun to read it many times. So you say, fork the government, fork the government, fork the government. It's really fun to say. But the idea of forking, if you're not familiar about the term fork, it's used quite often in computer science world, or especially if you're familiar with GitHub. When someone, let's say, make a project and you like it, and if this person can open license it, that means you can fork it. That means make a copy of it and try to make your own change or remix. And then that person is welcome to merge it back afterwards if you are also open to have your own project open license as well. So in the programmer's world, there's always a fork and merge mechanism. We kind of use that, we borrow that mechanism, this concept. And we had this idea from the beginning. It's from 2002 also, in the beginning of GovZero community. What we do is by forking the government by just looking at a bunch of government websites, maybe the websites we don't like, and let end with .gov.tw. And what we do is we try to make a copy of those websites. Okay, make a copy of them, make it better experience, better visuals, UI, maybe open data, and maybe also, and for sure also open license this. And then what we do afterwards is we change the URL from the website URL from 0 to 0. Okay, so now we have our own shadow government with all the similar websites from the government itself, but we have a copy of it. For the citizens, very easy to find our websites because you simply need to go to the government website and change the O to 0 and you can find us. So it's like a shadow government. And then you solve the discoverability issue. We don't need to do marketing or anything like that. Yeah, you just go ahead and find what you want for your service.
And is all of this is included in the project V-Taiwan, or V-Taiwan is another thing?
Oh yeah, so V-Taiwan is another project inside GovZero also. Yeah. So after a few times we call this kind of project like civic tech projects. I think it's also the theme of this conference. So after a few times of making several projects related to solving public matters, there was one movement took place in Taiwan called Sunflower Movement. It's pretty similar to 15M, I think. That was back in 2014 when students in Taiwan wouldn't bear with the MPs in the parliament that time. And they actually enter the parliament and occupy there for 22 days. And afterwards, we found out there's a need to create more rational discussion and try to collect opinions from the society, and we create a platform for that. So we started to make this project called V-Taiwan.
We have this one here right now, and for engage the citizens, are you using a common or regular tools, or do you prefer to use open source or something like that? What are you doing in the government of Taiwan?
We basically use all kinds of tools, but open source tools are, for us, easier to use because there's no need to pay a license fee, or if you want to change it, because we have a lot of passionate programmers helping us also. So for example, if we use Google Doc, if we want to change Google Doc, it's very difficult. But if we use Hackpad, then it's very easy to change Hackpad, for example. So we tend to use open source tools also. And the process itself is using a lot of open source tools, and the process itself is co-created throughout many years. So these boxes over here are the steps of creating a policy with citizens. And the process from maybe 10 years ago until now is also different. And now this is the current status of how we created policy together with the citizens.
And I think this is a very important one, police. What is police?
Yeah, so police is one of the very interesting open source tool we use in Taiwan quite a lot. It's machine learning based to help us calculate consensus from the society. So you can actually go to the next slide with the GIF animation.
Pones la otra, Juana, la de la animación.
Yeah, so the way how police works, maybe I can explain it. There are 3 sections in police interface. The top interface is where everyone will have their own opinions. And then you can see this green, red, and kind of gray button inside of the speech bubble. This is, as a user, you can interact with those people's opinion by saying, I agree, I disagree, or I don't know. It's quite usual. You just, it's okay to say you don't know. So it's okay to say, for this comment, I don't know how I feel about it. So you always have 3 options, agree, disagree, or I don't know. And the second section is where you yourself, as a user, you can tell the system what you're thinking. Yeah? And after you tell the system what you're thinking, it will be visualized in the graph in the bottom part. So that graph over there, there's a blue thing moving in the center. That is yourself, your icon, your avatar. After people vote on all the opinions on the internet, your icon will also move according to what people think and what people think about your own opinion. So one thing cool to notice over here is, so basically it's a platform for collecting how people think and visualize how people think and interact with other people. But one thing to notice is the way of interaction is there's no reply button on this interface. That means it's impossible to pick an opinion and then say some comment or some reply, some feedback to it. The only thing you can do is you can maybe copy the sentence, change it a little bit, make it more like your own standing, your own point of view, and re-upload again to the system. So we call this concept from reply to rewrite. So there's no way to reply and become like all the way to the right-hand side or left-hand side. There's no way like that. What you can do is you try to be constructive and you try to contribute to the overall conversation, to work to the main core topic, what we are talking about on this interface.
Okay, we had the tools, we had the platforms, but how did you get quality participation from the citizens? What did you do to put the citizens in the platforms and to manage these tools?
Yeah, that's a good one. So in the beginning, when we talk about Polis, this interface, many people think everything is happening on the internet, but it's actually not the case. Everything starts from the hackathons we talked about in the beginning. Everything starts from, every week we have a hackathon, every Wednesday evening from 7 to 10 o'clock. There's an open space in Taipei, the capital of Taiwan. You can always go there and you can talk with people who are there. And everyone can go, even public servants, they come to our hackathons also. Maybe they came in with some problem they are solving in their daily life. Yeah.
Okay, we are going to...
Buenas, soy José Luis Cignani de siliconmalaga.es. I wanted to ask something about the hackathons. I'm hearing that you have these residents of hackathons, something like that. So I just don't know if it's like the people from Andalusia can apply for this and go physically to Taiwan to the hackathon, or it's like a kind of hackathon that is remotely?
Remotely. Yeah, we can, recently we have hackathons live streamed also on the internet. So not only people in Taipei can participate in the hackathon, but also like even now I'm in Malaga. If it's a Wednesday, I would actually go online and participate also. Yeah. So you guys can join, and we don't have the translation yet, but I assume in 2 years the live stream translation will be really efficient. Then you guys can always hear about what's going on over there. But basically, it's not a serious event. It's just we chat about it. It's just people having pizza, drinking Coke, drinking beer. Yeah. There are always two types of hackathon. One is pizza and beer, or another one is pizza and Coke. Depends on your mood. So you can choose which type you want to go. Okay.
¿Alguna pregunta más tenéis?
Any more questions?
How do you think your organization will evolve in the future? Do you think there's any possibility if the technology is leading to, let's say, a more participatory government or democracy and that type of thing?
Yeah, thank you for this question. When I think about technology and AI and machine learning, it's almost like okay, when first time I entered the government, I think the government should really start to should trust people first before they can have a chance to be trusted back. So that kind of mindset should be there in the beginning. That's the government-citizen relationship, I believe. And for technology, I believe that machine learning or AI and human, we are not, any one component is not dominating another component neither. It should be a collaborative relationship. So it's very important to think about how to make trustable AI or trustable machine learning. It's not only about advancing machine learning in order to learn how people think or like calculate consensus from the citizen. It sounds very scary. But what if we open source the algorithm? We have open data, we can have open API, and we can have open algorithm, open source code. If that is the case, we'll be, as humans, we'll be more, we can trust the algorithms more, and we'll be more certain that the kind of less learning issues of how people collaborate together can be solved. You know, in my learning is it's really easy to collaborate with 2 people, 4 people, 10 people. When it's 20, it becomes more difficult. But democracy is all about like, how do we create a place and time for millions of people, billions of people to co-create together. And that was kind of impossible because, you know, the communication efforts need to be there. But what I believe is when technology arrives, when internet arrives, when AI arrives, it's all possible. But the thing is, how do we trust the tools we are using? One interesting example in Taiwan is we execute radical transparency. That means every meetings we have, we transcribe every lines people are saying and upload to the internet. And that is possible because we have a human transcriber sitting there. We still have a human transcriber sitting there typing all the words. But then these days, people start to talk both in Mandarin and English in the same sentence. That becomes very complicated. So we have this AI to help her. Whenever someone mentions an English word, the AI will move the cursor to the center of the sentence and try to help by typing an English word in between of the sentence. So we have this human AI collaboration. And I think that's going to come more often. And maybe the AI would type most of the sentence afterwards, and a human would just be there to make the sentence more natural. So this collaboration is what we are foreseeing. And for transcribe, it's a very straightforward task for AI. And it's maybe not much to question as long as we have live stream and recorded all the data. But for more complicated mathematical models or machine learning training models, then that's the place where we really need to open the algorithms and the machine learning algorithms behind. Thank you.
¿Alguna pregunta más? ¿Cuánto me queda? Porque tengo muchísimas preguntas.
I have more time for questions. 5 minutes.
What are the difference between 2014 and 2019? It's only 5 years. There is changes in Taiwan in only 5 years about the advances of the democracy?
Yeah, so the 2014 we have hackathons outside of government, and now we have hackathons
in the
inside
government. That is one change.
Yeah, and that's the main goal actually. And I think in 2024 we want to have hackathons everywhere in the earth, in every government. That's the main goal. So we are open sourcing our tools, our methods, and I hope we can exchange more experience and bring that mindset to other governments also.
Okay, perfect. You know that the problems... Okay.
Sí. Ni hao.
Hello, thank you.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
I have a question for you. If you have some kinds of government limitation in Taiwan, because as you know, in China, we have blocked the Facebook. So this is one of the questions. And the second one, if this is good for the citizens, what do you think?
You mean China blocking Facebook?
Yeah.
And what do we think?
About you.
About Taiwan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how I think the main difference of Taiwan and China is in Taiwan we try to make the government as transparent as much to the citizens, and some other countries are doing the opposite way. So it's actually the goal is to make open government, make government more transparent and more participative to the citizens. I think it's also the only way to solve the issue we have now in the global politics. The government, again, is to trust the citizens first, so that the citizens can start to feel more comfortable to participate. And the government should also start to create more channels, not only voting, because voting happens once every 4 years. The frequency of participation should be there, and the different levels of participation should be there as well. So not only voting, but also have a way to talk about your feelings, talk about if you're expert in lawmaking or politics, you should have a right to say something also. And if you're not expert in that, you should have a right to talk about feelings also. So I really want to have citizens to have a say, but also have a make. Like, I'm a maker in my spirit. I like using Arduino very much. And I always want to not only enable citizens to talk about their ideas, but also if they are designers, if they are programmers, they should also have access to all the open source tools and make the prototype for the government. So that's why we call Taiwan is prototyping democracy for the past 20 years. Thank you.
¿Alguna pregunta más?
Gracias.
Hay una pregunta ahí. ¿No? Que hay una pregunta, Diego. Si no, sigo yo, ¿eh?
We, in Taiwan, we are very inspired by the 15M movement. Actually, the sunflower movement in Taiwan, which happened 2 years after, was really, the way how we did it is really inspired by 15M. And I think the core person, Miguel, he came to Taiwan. Miguel Arana. He came to Taiwan. And share the experience with us. And then since that, we have been building this really close connection with Miguel and Mediale Prado, and we learned a lot from them also. I think in Taiwan, we are very lucky in a position right now. But it's hard to say what's going to happen after 5 years, 10 years. And we probably have similar mindset as when Media Lab Prado is very active, doing all the initiatives and try to make civic participation more close to the citizens, right? More frequency of participate and more chances to speak out. And I think in Taiwan, what we can really do right now, because I know we are very lucky, and the only thing we should be really, the thing we should be really careful right now is also documenting everything. Just try to make this experience more shareable, just in case anything happens in the future, because it should be a scalable project. It shouldn't be a one-off thing. So I think most of the initiatives for democracy happened in before. Are all very valuable, and that's how Taiwan's movements were shaped as well. And I'm really grateful to hear the story from 15M and the civic participation mechanisms afterwards. We actually talk a lot about that in Taiwan as well. And that kind of gives us, our citizens, more confidence, because when we talk about our own projects, citizens in Taiwan, we are just like, but that's our case. What about other countries? When other countries are doing the same thing as well, then we also feel more, willing to put more effort to it.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the last question, and we can put a little bit just, finish video, and you said that we can, just video ya, no me deja preguntar. Censura.
That's censorship. He won't let me ask.
And I don't know if there's any country that have a digital minister too, but I love what that you're doing and what your minister is doing. And I think we can show to the audience, this minister, how they make another things to stay close to the citizens in a video that we chose to the audience to finish.
Yeah, okay,
because
let's watch it.
Jorge don't let me ask.
Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget the perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Darkness breaks apart. Darkness breaks apart. Express your dreams and sing our song. Freedom and liberty belong to your heart. May glory make us strong. May glory make us strong. Thank you.
People like you, thank you very much to everybody. Thanks a lot.